Welcome, everybody, to Wednesday Night Yin. Right? We're going to use the bolsters and the blocks tonight. So if you have a cushion at home, that should suffice. Right? If you have a yoga block, better. If not, a cushion should suffice. If you don't have anything, I'll give you lots of alternatives of what to do. We're going to take our first few moments here just to arrive. So everybody in the studio is laying on their back. If you have a bolster, you can use it. Putting it under your knees as you lay back. I know you can't see my head, but okay. Or you can lay across it. You can put it back behind you. And then you lay back. Or you can just be laying on your back. It's all good. Giving ourselves this time just to arrive, to feel good, to let our bodies start to relax. Yin tonight. Get full control of your breath. For the most part, we let our breath do what it wants to do here. But you're still noticing your breath, you're still observing your breath. Letting it take over. Letting it push out all the other distractions. So you can be fully focused on your mat, your practice. Be fully present to your mat, your practice. Ready to start moving here, wherever you are, just kind of roll off your bolster. Right? Roll into a little fetal position and just take a breath there, like you're coming out of Shavasana. Right? But then you're going to push yourself up. Now, from here, what we're going to do this one still on camera here, is we're all going to lay back over our bolster. So I'm going to do it sideways. I'll take my bolster back. Now I'm going to sit right against it. So your booty's on the ground, right? But your low back is right against the bolster. And then you're just going to lay back over it. So here. And then once you get there, let your legs come to that butterfly position. So you're going to bring the soles of your feet together. Let your knees open wide. All right. I've got my hands kind of wide, palms face up right now. If you want to, right? You can take your hands and just rest them on your belly. You can tuck them under your thighs. You can press against your thighs. Whatever feels good. Just for the first minute or so. Then we're going to add some movement. Like I said, just in this first minute here, in stillness. Legs open. Let yourself feel now, hopefully, just a little bit of sensation. Legs start to press open the way they probably haven't yet today. Get yourself trained to be still through the sensation, whatever it is. Still and calm. When you're ready here, what you're going to do, all you're going to do, right, you're going to bring your knees together, right? So just tap your knees together. And then let them open back up, right? And do that about 3 more times. Still lay over your bolster, right? Keeping your lower body still. Just bring your knees together. Let them open back up. Bring them together. Open up. Right, do that one more time. You bring your legs together. And then open them up. All right, so now as your knees open up here, right? I know you should be laying back over your bolster, but think about where your knees are, right? And just take now your feet, put your feet flat on the ground where your knees were. So your feet should be wide, right? Maybe wider than your mat, maybe about the width of your mat, right? But wider than your hips, right? And then as you get there, you're gonna let your knees drop over to the right. Now they're not gonna come all the way to the ground, right? Just let the soles of your feet come up off the mat. And then pull your knees back to center. Now let them drop to the left. Pull back to center. So it's like a little windshield wiper. Do it a couple more times. Pull your knees right. Pull up. Pull left. Pull it up. And I know I didn't say this before, right? But if you're at home and you're watching this and you don't have a bolster, you can just be doing this from flat on your back, and it's fine. It's the same thing. Okay. Do it a couple more times each way here. And then come to a stop. Next time you drop your knees over to the left, right, even out your sides, you're going to pull them back up. So both feet are on the ground now. Your legs are kind of wide. You're going to take your left leg now, kick it all the way long. I know you can't see my left leg, but it's long, right? My heel's on the ground. And I'm going to take my right knee and just hug it in, right? So don't lift your head and shoulders up, right? You're not trying to reach your knee. Your knee's not going to come as far in, especially if you're on a bolster, if you're on your back. It's fine, right? You're just hugging it as much into your chest as you can. Right? Just circle, make some circles with that knee. Go one direction. Way. that leg all the way out. Right? Grab behind your thigh or your knee. Pull the leg toward you, nice and straight. Pointing your heel as much as you can up towards the side. Try to keep your head and shoulders down, right? We're not lifting up. Right? Just make it about the leg. If it's like way down here and you're here, that's fine, right? 3 more breaths here. Gently release your leg. All right, so now that right leg's coming all the way to the ground, you're going to take your left knee, hug it into your chest. I think we're just going to make some circles here with the left knee in one direction. And then the other direction. Come to a stop here. Right now, you're going to kick that left leg straight. Again, you can be grabbing behind your knee or behind your thigh. Don't want you to lift your head and shoulders. Keep your head and shoulders down. Flex your left foot. Push your heel toward, I want to say towards the ceiling, right? But it might not be towards the ceiling because you're keeping your head and shoulders down. It might just be kind of at a diagonal towards the place where the ceiling and the wall meet. Press that heel forward so you really feel that stretch in your legs. Take 3 more breaths here. And then bend is that left knee. Hug it back in. Now here, you're just going to let your left foot come down to the mat. Bring the right foot to join it. And then again, we're just going to roll to one side or the other. And then push ourselves all the way up. All right, so we're going to do a little movement here, but you're going to stay sitting down. Right? So I want you to sit up and take your legs out in front of you. Sit up tall. So you just look like this. Now, maybe this is good for you. Right? You're making your back and your core work a little bit. If you can hang out here like this and this doesn't feel uncomfortable to you, then stay right here. Right? If you want to, you can always take a bolster and put it under your knees. Right? So you're here. Makes it a little more comfortable. Right? Or a block. If you're at home, you don't have anything, and this is totally not comfortable to you, maybe bend your knees, put your feet on the ground. Just be here, right? Make it comfortable to you. Maybe you can do that easy sit if you want to. I was just trying to get away from that. Let us do something different today, but if that's what's comfortable to you, that's where you should be, because we're going to stay sitting up, right? So I'm just going to do it just like this, right? I don't have my bolster, I don't have my block, I've got my legs extended. Now, from here, take your hands and just sweep them up to the sky. Lengthen out your spine. Right? Now drop your right hand to your right side and reach that left hand over. Just hold it for a couple breaths. You can bring that right hand in closer, make it tighter. You can take that right hand further away, get more lean. It's really up to you, right? Don't let that left arm come in front of your face, right? It's not here. It's up and over, and that means your fingers are mostly pointed towards the sky. 4 more breaths. Now, on your next inhale, bring everything back up. And then from there, you're going to go the other way. So you're just going to drop that left hand down to your side, reach that right hand up and over. And you can move that left hand further away from you. You can bring it tighter in. What feels good to you, right? Make sure that arm's going, right arm's going up and over your head. It's not coming around in front of you. Right? It's here. 4 more breaths. way back up here, right? So lengthen out your spine. And then from there, bend your elbows. So I just want you to come to these little cactus arms, right? We've done this before. Now, with your cactus arms, you're just gonna tilt over to the right. So you're dropping your right elbow towards the ground, taking your left elbow up to the sky. Now you can use a block here, right? Tilt far enough over. Your elbow can land on the block, and you're just hanging out right here. You don't have to use the block if you don't have one. You're just here, right? Maybe you want to go lower or higher than the block allows for. All good. Just take 2 more breaths here. Now, hold it all back up, and then we're going to go the other way. We're just going to tilt to the left. So you want your elbows to stay even with each other, right? I don't want to be here where one elbow's like this and one elbow's like this, right? I'm still in those cactus arms no matter how far I'm tilting. Now if you want to use a block, right? That's an option. Use the block on this side just so you guys can see. 4 more breaths. From here, we're going to pull up. Now, as you pull up, right, you're still in these cactus arms. You really want you to pull your shoulder blades together. Push your chest forward. I'm not going to make you hold here for a long time. Just 2 breaths, right? So you're trying to push your chest through your shoulder blades. Palms are towards the top of your mat. And then release your hands, right? Let them come back behind you and interlace them behind your back. So I'm going to push my knuckles towards the floor, right? Maybe yours reach the floor, maybe not, right? You're really pulling your shoulder blades together. Tilt your chin up to the sky. Maybe you move your hands back so you can lean further back, right? It's like a little back bend here. Arch that back. Just take 4 breaths here. Come up, bring your shoulders over your hips. And now we're just gonna do a forward fold here, right? You're gonna keep your hands behind your back. You're just gonna start to lean forward as much as you can. You can put a little bend in your knees if you need to. Start to lift those hands up and off your low back, right? You can use a block here if you want to, right? Put it right between your knees. Let your head land on the block if your body allows for that. If not, right, you're still high. You don't have a block, it's okay. Like I said, I know these should be giving you a lot of sensation, so we're not staying here for a super long time. I want you to just stay here 4 more breaths. And then slowly start to draw back up and release your hands and just take them to your thighs. All right, now from here, I'm gonna turn myself back towards the front of the room. I want you all to take your bolster or a block, if you're at home, right, whatever you have. So it could be here, right? Or if you have a bolster, bring the bolster underneath your knees, right? Just something to prop up your knees. If you're at home, you don't have anything, right? You can do this straight-legged, right? Or you can do it with a little bend in your knees, right? So your knees are just a little bit bent. We're just gonna do a forward fold here, but it's gonna feel a little different because we're not gonna do it with a perfectly straight leg, right? So get yourself settled in wherever you're gonna be. Take your hands up to the sky, turn your palms towards the front of the room, and then just drape forward. Right? I grab my feet really easily here. It doesn't usually happen when I do this. Sometimes I grab my feet, but sometimes not. Right? If your hands just land on the bolster or on the ground or on your knees, that's okay, right? But you're pushing your belly to your thighs. With a little bend in your thighs, it's easier to get your belly to touch it. It's a classic yin pose. Not as much sensation, maybe, as when we do it straight-legged, but we're really doing it right. You're making sure that you're not making your back take on all the work in this pose. Letting that insertion point of your hamstrings and your hips. I'm pointing at it even though you can't see it on camera. Right? Really open up. Right? If you're at home and you don't have anything, you're just bending your knees a little bit. And you're folding forward and grab your ankles right here. Here. Right here, this insertion point where your hamstring meets your glute, right? That's part of your body that you're stretching no matter where you are. How deep or not deep into the pose you went. All right, so we're going to take another minute here. It should be comfortable enough that that doesn't scare you. Slowly start to peel your way up here. All right, now slide that bolster or block out from underneath you if you were using one. Right, and then from here, now we're going to play a little bit with Hero's pose. This is in Dawn's class this morning. She inspired me. I'm going to give you so many options, right? So I want you to take the one that works for you, right? Because there's so many different ways to do Hero, and it's a really good pose for us, right? Sometimes we see people do the full version of it, and we're like, I'm never going to do that, and you get kind of afraid of the pose and we don't do it. So we're going to try to do it here. Now, in Hero, right, basically what you're doing, you're kneeling. Now, I'm going to show you, I'm going to turn sideways. I'll show you the full version of Hero as best I can do it, right? Now, I would take my feet, bring them apart from each other, then I'm going to come sit down between my heels, right? And then I start to walk back. Now, I can come, on a good day in Hero, which today might not be, I can come down to my forearms and I can be here. This does not feel great on my knees, I'll tell you that right now. I can get here, but I don't want to hang out here for, 4 minutes. No, right? Some people can lay all the way down on their back and it is comfortable to them and they do want to hang out there for 4 minutes. If that's you, right? There's at least one person in this room that I know can do that. Right? You can go there, right? But here's all your other options, right? We have the blocks, we have the bolsters. You can sit on a block. That makes it a lot better. Your block can be high, right? I can be sitting on the block all the way up here if I need to. And then I just lean back on my palms. Right? Keeps a lot of pressure off the knees. You want your knees to be together, right? Your knees should be together. Your feet are apart. And you don't want your knees to come more than an inch or two off the ground, right? So if I'm here and I'm coming back and my knees are going, I can't even make myself do it because my knees hate it so much. If they're lifting way up off the ground, right, you're going too far. Your knees should be at least at the very most an inch off the ground, right? Now, you can also do this with your bolster. Bolster, bring it between your legs. And you sit back on it. Do this, and then you lean back. You don't have to lean back onto the bolster, and you can stay up on your palms. The bolster. Right? So lots of different options, right? Showing you how you can do it. Now, if none of that feels good to you, you can always do it with one leg at a time, right? Which means here I'm going to keep my left leg in the Hero position. I'm going to take my right leg, kick it out, right? And then I'm just here. So that's also an option. You can sit on the bolster and use that option if you want to. Sit on the block and use that option. Right, so we're going to hang out here, like I said, once you all find your spot. We're going to hang out here for about 4 minutes. Right? That's what I want you to play with it. I don't want you find something where that doesn't scare you. Right? It can be here, right? Now I've got the block underneath my right hip. I got my right leg kicked out. Got my left knee bent, right? I can hang out here for a while. You don't have to. If you're doing one leg, I'm going to tell you after 2 minutes, and you're going to switch legs, right? So you're leaning back. Then if you're watching this at home, I can guarantee you, whatever you look like, you're not alone. Somebody in here looks like that too. If you're laying all the way back, or if you can barely do one leg, we've got all the ranges in here. And everybody's doing their own thing, right? So you don't have to do anything that's uncomfortable. You don't have to do anything crazy. Make it work for you. It's so good for the quads, right? For the knees, even though it feels like it's not, it's good for your knees, right? For the back. Hero does so many things for us. If I really want to take pressure off my knees and be somewhere where I can hang out for 4 minutes, I would put the block under my hips and just hang out here on my palms. Right? That's my happy place. Might be super different. Now, if you chose to do one leg, now you're going to switch. Take the other leg, right? So lean towards that straight leg, so you can easily take the other leg out and then switch to the other side. Hang out there for the next 2 minutes. Ready. Come all the way up here. Now if you were if you were on one leg or the other, leaning towards the other leg, right? If you weren't, just bring yourself forward. We're going to come into a tabletop here. Right? So whatever was behind you out from underneath you. And then from your tabletop, right? Take your right leg, extend it all the way along, and just press your toes into that. Into that, my heel pressing towards the back wall is starting to open up that right leg from where it was crunched up. Now I want you to lift that right leg up. Just take it, swing it outside your left calf, and then put your toes on the ground here, right? So you're squeezing your inner thighs together. Take your gaze over your left shoulder, toward your right leg. Maybe from here, you can lift left hand up to the sky. down, you can. 2 more breaths, wherever you are. All right, push your left hand down, swing that right leg back over, come back to your tabletop, right? Consider this your core work for tonight. You guys are like, no, wait, we can't begin. We don't want any core. That's good. It's also stretching us out. It's also opening us up. All right, so take that left leg, extend it long. Now your left toes are pressing into the ground. Heel towards the back wall. Let that calf open. You're ready, pick up that left foot. So you're going to sweep your left leg over so your toes tap down outside your right calf. And so keep your shoulders square right now. So your shoulders right over your wrists and squeeze your inner thighs together, right? That's what's helping you keep your balance here. Last 4 breaths if you want to. Look over your right shoulder. Right hand. Off the mat. Not do this part. Put your right hand stay down. Keep your right hand down. Let that right hand float down. Take that left leg back over. Come back into tabletop. At this time, as we come to tabletop, you're going to let your hips come to one side or the other, drop it down, and then come back to seated. Take your legs out, nice and wide. Come back a little bit so that you can see my feet. So I want to take my feet up nice and wide. I want you to take your legs as wide as you possibly can. All right, now you can use your bolster here. Just bring it to the center, right in between your legs, right? Take your hands to the bolster, and then just start to walk yourself forward here as much as you can, right? Maybe it just means that your hands walk to the end of the bolster, and that's as deep as you get. Maybe you can drop to your elbows, right? Maybe you can take it all the way down so that your belly and your head come to the bolster. Everybody's going to be in a little different place, right? Just go as far forward as you can here. Don't round your back. Just think about bringing that chest forward. Peel up here. And then take the bolster, just angle it so it's totally against your right leg. Right? Now, I'm going to take both hands. You can't really see. It's okay. I've got my left hand on the bolster. I've got my right hand on my right knee. Right? And I'm just going to start sliding forward here. It should make it with the bolster. It's easy to just drop that left elbow onto the bolster. My right hand's going to keep reaching forward. Right? And maybe I can grab on to my right toes. Now what I want here is for my left hip to stay down on the ground, right? I don't want you to lean over to the right. You might just be right here with your, my left hand's on the bolster. Your right hand might not make it all the way to your toes, right? Maybe it's at your ankle, maybe it's at your shin somewhere, maybe it's still sitting on your knee. Maybe you're angling towards that right thigh. You're just giving yourself a little support with that bolster, pressing that left hand into the bolster. So you keep turning yourself, turning your torso to the right, keep pressing that left hip back into the mat. Slowly peel it up here. Let's go the other way. So take that bolster, bring it against your left inner thigh. Right, so same thing here. My right hand's going to go on the bolster. My left hand's going to start on my left knee. Right, I'm turning my torso towards my left leg, just sliding both hands forward so that hopefully eventually your right elbow can rest on the bolster and your left hand can keep reaching towards your left toes. If your left hand doesn't reach your left foot, it's okay. It can be on your ankle, it can be on your shin, it can be on your knee. Here, but you're kind of pressing that left, I said left elbow, I mean right elbow in to the bolster, right? So that you're kind of giving your torso a little leverage to turn to the left, and you're giving your right hip a little leverage to push back down into the mat. Because again, I don't want you to lift your right hip and angle your legs to the left, right? Just your torso is angled to the left. Here. All right, so we're going to finish off with a little couple inversions here. Now, you're going to take the bolster, right? It's going to go long on your mat. This is if you have a bolster, right? I'll show you what to do if you don't in a second. Right? Take a block, right? Put the block under the top edge. So your bolster is long, right? So that the top of the bolster is at the front of your mat. Take the block, put it underneath the top of the mat, right? So the bolster is a little bit higher at the back end than it is at the front. Now, here's what you're gonna do, right? You're gonna turn so that your glutes are right against the bolster. You're gonna put your legs on there, right? So my feet are higher, right, than my knees. My knees are higher than my hips. And then you're gonna lay all the way back here. Right, so I'm trying to scoot up. You want as much of your legs as you can get on the bolster, right? My feet are hanging off, but it's okay, right? But the key here is, right, you gotta keep your legs on the bolster, right, as they want to roll up and off. Now, if you don't have it, let's say you don't have a bolster, you don't have a block, right? If you have one or the other, you're just gonna do like that, right? So maybe you just have the bolster and your feet are just on the bolster. Maybe if you just have a block, your heels are on the block. Right? So you're trying to get your feet up, right? So you could be just here, and this is what you've got, or a big book. If you don't have anything, right, then you're just gonna come to waterfall. You can be here, your feet up to the sky. Hang out right here. All right, so find your spot. You've got something where you can prop up your feet. Do that. If you don't, you're in waterfall. Try to get the feet above the head and the heart. Obviously, we're doing that, whatever version you're in. Letting that blood start to go from the feet where it pools all day back to your head and your heart. You need it more. Take another 2 minutes here. Okay. So you want to be really comfortable to you, wherever you are. We're just going to let ourselves roll to one side or the other. And you're just gonna kind of roll off whatever you've got under your legs, bolster the block. If you're up in waterfall, bend your knees, scrape along your face and body, drop your feet back down to the mat. Right? So here's what we're gonna do. Now we're all gonna come. You're gonna push yourself up to seated. And we're gonna come down, and we're gonna end up in supported bridge. It's been a while since we did this. Supported bridge with a bolster, right? One thing you can do, I like to do sometimes, right? I'm gonna come to supported bridge with a bolster. Bring the bolster here, and then I just sit like on the very edge of it, right? So my hips are practically falling off. My knees are bent, so my knees are right over my ankles. And then I lay back like that, and it ends up with it under your hips. Right? And just be here. Now, you could also just come all the way, right? Lie on your back, lift up, pull the bolster underneath you, be there. You can do this with a block, obviously, like we usually do it, right? Or if you don't have anything, yourself up. If you don't have a block, if you don't have a bolster, then you're just going to come into a regular bridge. Right? Just push your hips up to the sky. Just hang out right there. Right now, an unsupported bridge can be kind of hard to hold for a minute or two. You can always take your hands, bring them right into your low back. Rest on your fists, right? So I made fists, and then I put them right in my low back, so my hips can rest on my fists. Okay, so those are all your alternatives there, no matter what you've got. Equipment-wise, or don't have. Now you can make this an extended bridge if you want to. If you're in supported bridge, I would recommend it if you're in an unsupported bridge, right? But let's pretend I'm here with a little block. For my extended bridge, I would extend my legs long. Now, if you're doing this, you gotta keep your knees up to the sky. You gotta keep your toes pointed up to the sky. You can't let everything fall open. So this is me, an extended bridge. So we have my feet. Here we go. Right now, I'm here. What I don't want to do is be here. My knees and my legs falling open. Okay? If this is where you have to be for it to be at all comfortable to you, right, don't go there. It's hard for me, right? I can't stay here for a minute. So if that's you, then you're just going to stay in a regular bridge. Bend your feet, put your feet on the ground. If you like extended bridge, go there. If you like it better in a regular bridge, keep your knees bent. Now, from here, if you've got your legs extended, bend into your knees, put them back on the ground. Okay? And again, you can just take the bolster of the block if you're laying on one, lift your hips up and pull it out from under you, or you can just kind of let yourself roll to one side or the other, roll all the way off it. Okay? Because now I want you to lay flat on your back. And you're going to bring your bolster over to your right side. I shouldn't say flat on your back. What I want is for you to be on your back with your knees bent. Right here. I've got my bolster right against my right hip. Long legs, right? So we're going to do a little twist here to finish off. You're going to take your arms out long, like wings in that T position. Take your knees, pull them up into your chest. Now, we're going to do that supine twist, but hopefully, as you do that twist, right, your legs can land on the bolster. So it looks like this. It gives you that kind of sensation like when you press down And then you don't have to press down. There's somewhere for them to land. If you don't have a bolster or you don't like that, right, then you're just in your regular supine twist with your knees stacked on top of each other like we always do. Everybody's looking over their left shoulder. You can do this with a block too. Just here. Again, lots of different options. But we're just using this as our final twist. And then we can seal off our practice. Always remember what happened tonight. Next time we come practice, it's a whole lot easier. Go everywhere, a little deeper. Pull your knees up to center here, right? And then take that bolster. You're going to bring it to the other side. And do the same thing. Just let your knees drop to the left as your arms are out long. You're looking over your right shoulder. Okay. Use the bolster. Your knees are just dropping flat. Your last minute or so here. Do the supine twist. Right here, bring your knees back to center. Now we're going to give them that one final hug into your chest. And then we're going to set up for our final pose, our Shavasana, right? So come to that place on your back again. If you want to use a bolster, if you have one, use a bolster. Be under your knees, be under your back. You don't have to use it at all. You're here in studio, you have a towel, I'll spray it with the sea salt if you want. If you're at home and you have a towel, once you're in position, put that towel over your eyes. If you don't have a towel, just close your eyes. Let yourself get to that place. Perfectly comfortable. You're going to need to stay perfectly still. Your mind is going to be able to go. Perfectly quiet. If that place isn't on your back for you, then you don't have to be on your back. You can sit up, you can be on your belly, you can be on your side. You can be using your bolster, you can be laying flat on your back. Shavasana is all about going within. Finding that place where there's nothing left in your mind but you and your breath. When you can get there, that's always going to be the true quiet of the mind. Slowly start to come back into the room. Look at your fingers and your toes. Feeling that increased sensation that comes to the quiet mind. Once you're here, take your arms overhead, do a nice full deep body stretch. And then from there, wherever you are, see if you can roll over onto your right side in fetal position. Just take a couple breaths right there. The sights, the sounds of the room come back to you. Stay there as long as you need to. When you're ready, push yourself up to seated. Close here. Let's close with our two Mari breaths and then an Om. The Mari breath, we're going to inhale as we exhale, make that little humming sound in the back of the throat, and then the Om is the universal syllable, uses all parts of the throat. You can join me in these breaths, you can just listen. But let's close our eyes here. We'll inhale together. Inhaling again. And then we're going to inhale one final time. And your eyes drift open. Bring your hands to heart center. Thank you, all of you, for sharing your energy, your practice with me this evening. The light in me honors the light in each of you. Namaste. All right. So I will see you guys all on Saturday, right? Angie should be here tomorrow morning with some more yin yang. Now, if it's too icy, I'm sure that Liza will have that up on the website or on the group. Sorry, the Facebook group. Whether or not we're gonna have it live, hopefully at least we'll have it online, even if Angie has to do it from home. But check if you want to know. Hopefully none of that matters, and you can do it live or you can do it at home. But I will see you guys all Saturday. Okay, stay warm.